Hello everybody, welcome back to NIOS Made Easy. Today we are solving yet another board question paper. This is economics. This paper was given in October 2021. The first 8 questions are multiple choice questions. Let us go through them. The first question, which out of the following wants is a non-economic want? Options are scooter, B, air, then mobile and jewelry. The correct answer is B, that is air. The wants that can be satisfied by paying a price are economic wants, and those wants which are not purchased by paying a price are non-economic wants. An example is the air we breathe, which is a non-economic want. So the option B is the correct answer. The next question, collective ownership of means of production is a feature of which of the following economy? Capitalist economy, socialist economy, mixed economy, or none of the above? This question is from chapter 4, that is economy, its meaning and its types. The correct answer is B, that is socialist economy, because it is in the socialist economy that we have collective ownership of means of production. The next question, purchase of a car by a household is treated as a capital formation, production by the household, consumption by the household, and production for self-consumption. This is from chapter 6, basic economic activities. This is a very simple question. When a household purchases a car, it is for the consumption by the household. Question number 4. When 2 units of labor are employed, the total product is 22 units. How much will be its average product at this level of output? This is a very simple problem. To get the average product, we divide the total product by the units. So that is 22 divided by 2, which will give us 11 units. So answer B, 11 units is the correct answer. Answer B, 11 units is the correct answer. Question number 5. Which of the following is a public sector undertaking? The Indian Railways is a public sector undertaking. Question number 6. The definition of demand for a commodity includes the price of the commodity, quantity of the commodity bought, time period. Option D is all of the above. If you look at the definition for the demand for a good is defined as the quantity of the good purchased at a given price and at a given time. So all the 3 options are here. The correct option is option D, that is all of the above. Question number 7. Which out of the following is a secondary source of data? One is mail questionnaire, indirect investigation, publication of international bodies like World Bank, and direct personal investigation. If you look at options A, B, and D, they are all primary sources of data. The correct answer is C, that is publication of international bodies like World Bank. Question number 8. Which of the following is the major cause of soil degradation? The correct answer is overgrazing by animals in fields will cause soil degradation. So the answer B is the correct answer. Question number 9. Public goods are those goods which are collectively owned. Justify this statement. Public goods are those goods which are owned and enjoyed by the society as a whole. Example, roads, bridges, park, town halls, etc. They are all collectively owned. They are available to all the people in the society without any discrimination. That is, no one is denied from the consumption of public goods. Both the government as well as the private entrepreneurs produce public goods. Question number 10. Give the importance of markets and prices in a capitalist economy. This is again for 2 marks. This is from chapter 4, economy, its meaning and types. The important features of capitalism are private property, freedom of choice, profit motive, and competition. They make room for a free and efficient functioning of a price mechanism. Capitalism is essentially a market economy where every commodity has a price. The forces of demand and supply in the industry determine the prices of commodities. Firms which are able to adjust at a given price, they earn normal profit, and those who do not make any profit or fail to do a profit will often quit the industry. A producer is one who will produce those goods which will give him profit. Question number 11. Explain the role of firms and industries in providing infrastructure for the development of the country. This is from Chapter 7, Production. Firms and industries provide us with energy, transport, communication, health, education, and housing. These are the basic requirements to provide infrastructure for the country. Without the development of infrastructure, the all-round development of the country is not possible. Hence, it is the role of these firms and industries which is very important for the development of a country. The next question, question number 12. This is a problem question and we are expected to complete this table that is given here. The first column is the sale of output. It's a commodity which is sold in kgs. We have an average revenue and we have a total revenue. We'll have to calculate the total revenue and the average revenue for these blanks. This is the formula. Average revenue is equal to total revenue divided by the quantity sold. Therefore, total revenue becomes average revenue into the quantity. Let us take the first row of data. We'll have to calculate the total revenue. Total revenue is equal to the average revenue into the sale of output in kilos. So that will become 25 into 10, which is 250. The total revenue is 250 rupees when the output is 10 kilos at an average revenue of 25 rupees. In the second row of data, the total revenue is 275 rupees for 11 kgs of output. To calculate the average revenue formula is equal to total revenue divided by quantity. That becomes 275 divided by 11, which is also equal to 25. This is the completed table. The next question, question number 13. Explain the difference between individual demand and market demand for a commodity. The individual demand refers to the quantity of a commodity that an individual buyer is willing to buy at a given price and at a given time. The market demand is the total quantity of the commodity which is demanded by all the individual buyers in the market at a given price and at a given time. That's the market demand. The factors that affect individual demand are the price of the commodity, price of the related goods, income of the buyer, tastes and preferences of the buyer. Whereas the factors affecting the market demand are the number of buyers, the distribution of income and wealth, and climatic conditions. These were the differences between individual demand and market demand. Question number 14. If at a price of rupees 15 per kg, quantity demanded for a commodity is 75 kgs and the quantity supplied is 125 kgs, what is the above situation called? What will be its effect on the price of the given commodity? This situation is from Chapter 11, that is determination of price and quantity. If at a price of 15 rupees, the quantity demanded is 75 kilos and the quantity supplied is 125 kilos, the quantity supplied of the commodity is more than its quantity demanded. Therefore, the situation is excess supply of the commodity. What will be its effect on the price of the commodity? In the situation of an excess supply, the prices will fall and they will continue to fall until it reaches the equilibrium price. Question number 15. Explain the store of value function of money with the help of an example. This is from Chapter 14, Money and its Roles. Money also acts as a store of value, that is, money has value. As a medium of exchange, you will pay money in order to buy goods. This means that if you have the money, you have the power to purchase a good or a service. That means money has purchasing power. The value of the good is contained in that purchasing power. In other words, the value of the good is indirectly stored in the money that you hold, which you will use in order to buy that product. Example, Sushila has got some mangoes and she sells it to a buyer for rupees 250. This means that a value of 250 has been exchanged. And the buyer who has purchased these mangoes, that person has the purchasing power of 250 rupees. And this is a value. Hence, a value of 250 rupees was stored in the money which was received by Sushila as a seller. Sushila could not have stored the mangoes, but she can definitely store the money which has the value, the stored value of 250 rupees. Question number 16. 100% accuracy in statistics is neither possible nor desirable. Justify the statement. This is from chapter 17, Collection and Presentation of Data. This is one of the features of statistics. That is, 100% accuracy in statistics is neither possible nor desirable. What we need, what is needed and expected is only a reasonable standard of accuracy. For example, if a doctor has invented a new medicine to control a disease and statistically he ascertained that 90% of the patients have responded well, and statistically if 95% of the people have responded to the treatment, it may be considered that the new medicine is good and it has reasonable standard of accuracy as the results show only 90% of the patients have responded well and it is not 100%. This reflects reasonable standard of accuracy. The next question, question number 17. How does the environment absorb harmful wasters and byproducts? Explain. This is from chapter 23, Environment and Sustainable Development. The environment is also an absorber of harmful wastes and byproducts. That is, it assimilates the waste products. The smoke from chimneys and exhaust pipes of vehicles, sewage from cities and towns, industrial effluents are all absorbed by the environment. These harmful wastes and byproducts are absorbed. They are cleaned and recycled by various natural processes. The next question, question 18. Explain how you will be a green consumer with the help of a suitable example. This is from chapter 24, Consumer Awareness. A consumer must consume those products which do not cause damage to our environment. Plastic bag is one example which has caused serious damage to the environment. Instead of plastic bags, people should use biodegradable products which can easily mix with soil and water after they are disposed of. Similarly, people should save electricity and gas by judiciously using them. Consumers are also responsible for automobile pollution in towns and cities. They should switch to using public transport system and eco-friendly vehicles wherever possible. The next question, question 19. How do resources satisfy wants? Explain. This is a 4-mark question. This is from chapter 2, Human Wants. Wants are satisfied with the use of goods and services. To produce these goods and services, resources are used. With ever-growing wants, we make greater use of resources. The resources we use may be natural or man-made. All the resources can be classified into labor, land, capital, and entrepreneurship. For example, for the production of wheat, we use land, labor, a machine like a tractor pump set, etc. The tractor pump set forms a part of the capital. The farmer, who is the entrepreneur here, will organize all these factors together to produce wheat. However, the resources are limited. The resources that we want to satisfy our endless wants are limited or they are scarce. With the development, new goods are invented which lead to the increase in our wants, but the resources do not increase accordingly. This may lead to exhaust our resources. Question number 20. Distinguish between economic development and economic growth. This is a 4-mark question from the chapter 4, Economy, its meaning and types. Economic growth is a short-term measure and generally refers to year-to-year rise in national and per capita income in real terms. Whereas economic development, on the other hand, is a long-term measure over a long period of time. Economic growth, taking the differences in population into consideration, it reflects in the growth of the per capita income. Whereas in economic development, it not only includes the economic growth, but also the various economic changes that improve the quality of life, the standard of living of people in a country. With economic growth, a country experiences various economic changes such as reduction in poverty, unemployment, reduction in income, wealth inequality, etc. Economic development not only includes economic growth but also various economic changes that bring about the improvement in the standard of living of the people and also the quality of life. Economic growth, the standard of living might not change, whereas with economic development, the standard of living will change. These were the differences between economic development and economic growth. For all the differentiate between or difference between questions, it is a good idea to write the differences in the form of a table. Question number 21. Distinguish between labor-intensive technology and capital-intensive technology. This is from chapter 7, that is production. This is a distinguish between question. So the differences are explained in the form of a table. Labor-intensive technology is when we make more use of labor and less use of capital per unit of output during the production of a commodity. This is called as labor-intensive technology. When we make use of the capital and less use of labor per unit of output in the production of a commodity, then it is called as a capital-intensive technology of production. Small-scale industries and household-based industries use labor-intensive technology, whereas corporations, government enterprises, large-scale industries, where there is large-scale production of goods and services, capital-intensive technology is used. The production process of a labor-intensive technology is to use more labor force, whereas the production process of a capital-intensive technology is to use more capital in the form of large machineries, acres of land, etc. Question number 22. How does the price of a commodity affect the demand for the commodity? Explain. This is from chapter 9, demand. The law of demand is, if a price of a commodity falls, its quantity demanded increases, and if the price of the commodity rises, its quantity demanded falls, the other things remaining constant. This just means that the factors determining the demand remains a constant. The price of a commodity and its quantity demanded are inversely related. Generally, we are willing to buy more quantity of a commodity at a lower price and less of it at a higher price if all the other factors determining the demand remains a constant. The next question, question 23. How will you open a savings account in a commercial bank? Explain. This is from chapter 16, saving and insurance. If you also happen to be writing the business studies paper, the steps for opening an account are explained in a greater detail there. You can use those points as well. An individual who wants to save money can open a savings bank account. The minimum amount necessary to open an account and the minimum balance that has to be left after withdrawal of the money are prescribed by the bank where the person saves his money. After filling out the required forms, getting the specimen signatures, and after a formal introduction to the bank, an account can be opened. A bank will provide you with a passbook once the account is opened, which will show you details of the deposits and withdrawals. A commercial bank will allow a nominal rate of interest on a savings bank account. Question 24. Explain the differences between a commercial bank and a cooperative bank. This is from chapter 15, Banking and Credit. This is a difference between question, so the differences are explained in the form of a table. A commercial bank is an institution which accepts money from the public as deposits and give loans to them. It is the normal bank that we refer to, whereas cooperative banks are the banks which are run by cooperative societies. The aim of a commercial bank is to earn profit by charging a rate of interest on the loans and the fees for various services that they offer, like issuing a draft, transferring money, etc. Whereas in a cooperative bank, they provide credit for farming, cattle, fishery, etc. In urban areas, these banks provide credit for self-employment activities, small-scale industries, purchase of goods, etc. Some examples of commercial banks are the State Bank of India, the Punjab National Bank, Bank of India, etc. Examples of cooperative banks are Saraswat Cooperative Bank, Cosmos Cooperative Bank, Shamrao Vittal Cooperative Bank, etc. Question number 25. Statistics are the aggregate of facts. Justify this statement. This is from chapter 17, Collection and Presentation of Data. Statistics are the aggregate of facts. A single fact cannot be considered as data or statistics. For example, the mark secured by a student in class 10 in mathematics says 95. This is just a single piece of information. It is just a fact and it does not become a data. However, the mark secured by all the students of class 10 of a school, either a section-wise total or a grand total, can be considered as a data because it becomes an aggregate of facts. By telling the marks of just one student, we cannot understand the performance of the class, nor can we carry out any analysis, nor can we recommend any advice. This means that by giving the aggregate of facts, data becomes more meaningful and it has scope for analysis. Question number 26. Distinguish between primary data and secondary data. The data that is originally collected for the very first time for the purpose of a survey is called as primary data, whereas when we use data which has already been collected by others, that is called as secondary data. The methods of collecting primary data are by direct personal investigation, indirect investigations through a correspondent. There are many more methods of collecting primary data. When this data, which is the primary data, is used, then it becomes secondary for all the other users. Collecting primary data is expensive, whereas secondary data is not so expensive. Question number 27. Calculate the arithmetic mean from the following data using step deviation method. We can collect arithmetic mean by various methods. In this question, they are asking you to use the step deviation method. This is the marks X and this is the number of students, that is F. Let's calculate the mid value for each class. So the mid value of 0 to 10 will become 5. So we get it by adding 0 plus 10 divided by 2. The mid value for 10 to 20 is 15, which is 10 plus 20 by 2 and so on. The mid values are 5, 15, 25, 35 and 45. Using this data, let us create a table. Your table will look something like this. This is the marks, this first column, which is already given to you in the question. And this is the mid value of X, that is 5, 15, 25, 35 and 45. This is what we just calculated in the previous step. We have F here. Which is the number of students, that is 20, 40, 10, 5 and 25. This is also given in the question. Let us assume this value A. This value A is the assumed mean. So in this range, the assumed mean will become 25. So A is 25. Now let us calculate dx on this column. Dx is the difference between X and A. The answer you get when you subtract A from X, that is X minus A, that is the values given here. Now let us calculate a parameter dx1, which is dx divided by 10. And these are the values that are obtained. Finally, let us do a product of f into dx1. F is here and dx1 is here. So the product is this. The formula for calculating the arithmetic mean using the step deviation method is this. That is A plus sigma of f dx1. That is sigma is the total of all the values here in this column, which is a minus 25, divided by n. N is the sum of the f values, which is 100. And we have a constant C, and this constant here is assumed to be 10. So by applying this formula, you will get the arithmetic mean of 22.5. The next question, question 28. The frequent occurrences of famines had been the worst part of the British rule in India. Explain. The worst part of the British rule in India had been the frequent occurrences of famines. Famine is a situation where many people do not get food to eat and they die because of hunger and other diseases. During the British period, famine occurred nearly 33 times. The most devastating famine that occurred was the Bengal Famine in 1943. This was just 4 years before the independence. During the Bengal Famine, 1.5 million people died due to the lack of food. What led to this famine? Some of the reasons for the occurrence of famines were as follows. Bad rainfall upsetting the food grain production since irrigation facilities were not available. Agriculture at that time was dependent on rainfall. British government kept on exporting food grains to its native country England and elsewhere, even when there was a local need for these things. So the locals did not get the food grains while it was all getting exported to England. The British government was only interested in earning revenue from agriculture, so they did this by exporting food grains to other countries. Sometimes the food grains were also used to feed its soldiers who were fighting wars in different parts of the world. Poor people did not have money even to purchase food grains from the market. Indian farmers were encouraged to produce cash crops because they had to meet the revenue requirements imposed by the British government. This led to the fall of the production of food grains because less area was available for cultivation. These were some of the reasons why famines occurred during the British rule in India. And this has been the worst part of the British rule as well. Question number 29. Suppose you are the government. Explain the steps you will take to control prices. In order to protect the interest of consumers, government fixes the maximum price of the commodity. The maximum price is generally lower than the equilibrium price. This is called as the control price or the ceiling price. This price is fixed by the government because poor people cannot afford to buy the commodity at equilibrium price. The situation arises when the production of a commodity is less than its demand. As the price of the commodity fixed by the government is less than the equilibrium price, it may create excess demand of the commodity, which means that the buyers are more willing to buy than what the sellers are actually willing to sell. In India, the government has a control price or a ceiling price to the commodities, which it considers essential for the masses. Due to excess demand for commodity at a ceiling price, the government resorts to rationing. Rationing is fixing of quota per head per unit of time. Due to excess demand of the commodity at a ceiling price, the problem of black marketing also arises. Black market is a situation in which the seller illegally charges the price of the commodity which is much higher than the control price. The problem of black marketing can be solved using the dual price policy. Question number 30. There is a need for spreading consumer awareness in rural areas more seriously. Justify the statement. On the account of globalization and liberalization, increase in the middle income and high income population in the villages, our rural markets are also expanding. Companies are reaching out for their products. The rural consumers in India are generally ignorant and illiterate, so they are exploited by manufacturers, traders, and service providers. Rural consumers face problems like fake brands, spurious products, they lack warranties and guarantees, unreasonable pricing, lack of varieties, etc. Hence, there is a need for spreading consumer awareness in rural areas more seriously. Question number 31. Explain how the market demand for a commodity is affected by the following factors. Number of buyers and distribution of income and wealth. This is from chapter 9, that is demand. Market demand is the total quantity of a commodity that all the individual buyers in the market are willing to buy at given prices per unit of time. The market demand is influenced by the following factors. The first is number of buyers. The number of buyers buying a commodity determine the demand for the commodity in the market. The market demand of mangoes will increase if the number of buyers for mangoes increase. So, if the number of buyers of a commodity is large, the market demand for that commodity also will be more. On the other hand, if the number of buyers is small, the market demand for the commodity will also drop. The next factor is distribution of income and wealth. The distribution of income and wealth in a society determines the market demand of a commodity. If the distribution of income and wealth is more in favor of the rich, demand for the commodities preferred by the rich is likely to be higher. On the other hand, if the distribution of income and wealth is more in favor of the poor, then the demand for commodities preferred by the poor is likely to be higher. Question number 32. Describe the role played by the intermediaries, that is zamindars, during the British rule in India. This is from chapter 9, an overview of Indian economy. Agriculture was a major occupation of the people of India during the British rule. So it was a major source of revenue for the government as well. The British introduced two types of land revenues. The first was permanent settlement. Under this, land revenue was permanently fixed. The other was temporary settlement, and under this, the land revenue was to be changed after 25 to 30 years. In order to collect revenue, the British appointed zamindars. These people were called as intermediaries because they used to act between the British government and the common people. Their job was to collect revenue in the form of taxes and rents from villagers, from farmers, and other householders, and they had to submit this revenue to the government. Over the years, the zamindars exploited the common people as they mercilessly collected revenues without considering their poor status. No consideration was shown even during poor harvest due to bad rainfall or floods. Out of the total revenue collected from the villagers, these intermediaries or zamindars would keep a part of it before depositing the rest with the British government. Besides collecting land revenues, the British government depended on them for running the administration. In this way, the zamindars became mini rulers in their own respective areas. They used to forcibly take away belongings from people who failed to pay up the revenue. This way, the zamindars or intermediaries became rich and powerful at the cost of a common man and with the blessings of the British government. This was the role played by the zamindars or intermediaries during the British rule in India. The last question, question 34. Give any four natural sources of air pollution and any two effects of air pollution. This is from chapter 23, Environment and Sustainable Development. The major natural sources of air pollution are dust from natural sources, usually barren land, methane, which is emitted by the digestion of food by animals, for example cattle, smoke, particularly matter and carbon monoxide from wildfires, volcanic activity produce sulfur, chlorine and ash particles. These are some of the sources of air pollution due to natural sources. What are the effects of air pollution? Health gets affected by air pollution. This may include difficulty in breathing, wheezing problems, coughing, and aggravation of the existing respiratory and cardiac conditions. These effects can result in increased medication, increased doctor visits, increased emergency room visits, and hospital admissions, and sometimes even premature death. These are the effects of air pollution. With this, we have completed this question paper. Hope this was of use to you. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and please share it amongst your friends who might also be benefited by this. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video useful, please do give it a like. Request you to share it with your friends who might also benefit from this video. If you would like to see more such content, please do leave a comment in the comment section below and please do subscribe to watch more such videos. Thank you again.